soon as you tell him that it's to promote a podcast, he's gonna charge you double.
Probably.
Oh, you got some of that Joe Rogan money.
Oh, welcome to the Alpha Primos podcast, the show where we talk about anything and everything from Edgar Allan Poe to using Halloween as an excuse to dress like a hoe. Hey!
Amen.
I'm
Amen
Punzo.
to that.
Yeah. And I'm JJ.
And I am your morbidly obese friend, Paco.
I will
I
be
use
dressing like a
shadows
slut.
to make myself look better.
Yes.
And I dress like a
Speaking...
slut every day of the year. Not just
Goddamn right.
Yes. Yes, and speaking of morbid, yes, we are starting the spooky season, right? Right off the bat.
Well, we're starting
Yeah.
this season. Walmart apparently is starting fucking Christmas already.
I saw
No.
that they already
Yeah.
got Christmas decor up. Yep.
I had to go yesterday to go buy soap, and then I had to go again today to get grandma's medicine. And I'm like, there's so many Christmas trees everywhere. Why?
See, this is why I'm an HEB man, because
Yeah.
they still have Halloween shit up there.
Yeah.
Just gonna go buy a skeleton and put it in Walmart for no reason.
Dude, HEB, the one here has the giant fuck off like 12-foot tall one.
Oh, that's awesome.
I took a picture of it and I said, "Oh, I forgot to send it to you guys." I sent it to the Mexcellence group chat. And I was like, I fucking need a job like tomorrow, guys.
Just buy one and put it on your
It's
patio.
$250.
Totally worth it. Just put
I
it on
mean,
the patio.
I agree, but that's why I need a job like tomorrow.
Right.
Neighbors are like, "Who's that guy talking to?" It's just a skeleton. It's like, listen
Maggie
here,
will-
Frank.
No. I already got its name. I'm going to make a headband for it and make a bow for it, and I'm going to name it John Rambone. And coincidentally,
name.
that's also my porn name. So no one steal that.
All right.
Oh, but real quick, while I did not buy a giant fuck off skeleton at a HEB, I did buy this spooktacular beer. Look at that little guy.
Golden Big
Look at him.
Cryptid.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Man.
from Independence Brewing. When I went to HEB, the guy from the brewery was there handing out free samples, and I was like, "Yo, give me 12, my man."
Free samples, you say? Yeah,
No.
we don't get that cool stuff out here, man. We don't. There's
Yeah.
no like craft beer anywhere around
Not
town.
yet.
I mean,
Well,
I don't really drink that much, but still, the option would be nice.
I mean, I think this might be one of the reasons. Like, I chatted up that dude for a little bit, not a lot, right? Like, he was just like, "You want beer?" And I was like, "Yes, you know my name, sir." And when he had this one, the Golden Bay Cryptid, which apparently is a one-time only thing. He's like, "Yeah, we
Oh.
always do like a spooky seasonal one,
Mm-hmm.
but we
Okay.
never keep it. Like, it's always a different recipe. So next year it's gonna be something different."
Okay, that's cool.
Okay.
Keeping it fresh.
Yeah, and he had this other one called Oklahoma Sucks, and it's just like UT colors on a can, and it says Oklahoma Sucks.
Yes.
Amen
Okay,
to
that's
that.
funny.
It does.
He's like, that one we do every year, and it's always, for football season, for tailgating and shit.
Yeah.
So he let me try both, and he only had like 6 packs of the Oklahoma Sucks beer like on his table, so I was like, yeah, I'll take one. Fuck it. And I'll go look for this other one. And he's like, thanks, bro. Because I can't leave until we sell all this beer. And he still had like 4 more 6-packs on there. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, dude. I'm only in it for one.
Look, the beer's good, but I not 4 6-packs worth, right? Sorry, bro.
I did my part, though. You're welcome.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have, and you just give them, have them on the sports show, sponsor it. Just be like, I'll make you a deal. You give me all of those at a cheap price, I'll promote you on my podcast, on my sports podcast. UT
Damn.
does suck, but you know what doesn't suck? Independence Brewing.
Oh man, I think as soon as you tell him that it's to promote a podcast, he's gonna charge you double.
Probably.
Oh, you got some of that Joe Rogan money, huh?
Right.
If I had Joe Rogan money, I wouldn't be at this HEB. Let's just.
Oh, no.
Just
I
know
went to
that.
the nice HEB.
Oh, you did the nice HEB.
I mean, granted, if I had Joe Rogan money, I'd probably be at Central Market buying fucking elk penises or whatever the fuck he eats.
They sell those exclusively at Whole Foods.
Right. But yes, to fill in our viewers, yes, we are starting the spooky season, so these next few episodes will be spooky horror themed in one way, shape, or another. And as we come together to celebrate this time of fright, of the macabre and the dead, it is also important that you alphas use the time you have right now to reach out to your loved ones. Be sure to tell them you care about them, you love them, send them a text, give them a phone call, and just hug them and appreciate them for the time that we still have them. Because one of the unfortunate things about life is that death comes for everybody, and life must go on. The world keeps turning, and we just take everything one step at a time. So, to you alphas out there, use this time, reach out to your loved ones, tell them you care about them,
Agreed.
and
Acknowledge
likewise,
them, if you will.
Yes,
Yes,
acknowledge them. Just like you guys acknowledge this podcast, we acknowledge you guys, the viewers, the true alphas of
That's right.
this channel. And it's not just to the people leaving comments. I also want to shout out the alphas that tune in and listen and then just wait for the next one. We see you guys too.
Mm.
It's okay.
Your
You don't
Bugatti's
have
still
to
in the
leave a
mail.
comment. But we appreciate you guys tuning in anyway, and hopefully we make your day just a little bit better.
Yes.
All right.
Customs has
So-
your Bugatti right now.
Yes. Your
It's tied up in
Bugatti's-
customs, bro. Like
It's tied up.
Yeah.
We know what's going on, but we sent them.
Yep.
that would happen
But,
a lot at Blizzard. Like they would order some physical shit and they'd be like,
It gets stuck in customs.
Yeah, it said like it'd be here in 2 weeks. Yeah, bro, but that I don't know what to tell you, man. Customs thought it was coke. Like,
What are you sending me, bro? Well,
Right.
my Mandalorian helmets, when I ordered them, I didn't realize they came like all the way from India. Because I was tracking and I was like, why the fuck is it at customs?
India.
And I was like, what is it doing there? And then, of course, apparently mine got checked. Like, it was one of the ones that got
Yeah.
marked for inspection. And I'm like, because it
It didn't
arrived
help
like a
that they
couple
were
days late.
white, right?
Yeah, it did not help that they were
Solid-
like solid white, heavy, because they're like full metal. I was like, oh shit, like, I'm sorry, guys. I thought I was just ordering some prop helmets, but nope, I was ordering full on armor. I didn't realize.
All right.
It was $100. I didn't expect them to be metal. I was like, Jesus, these things are heavy.
These are actual armor.
These are actual armor helmets. I'm using it.
All right. Well, let us jump into our first spooky episode. So, we're going to talk about horror mangas, but unfortunately, that's such a big topic. We're going to have to split it into 2 episodes. So, for this one, we just got to get the main man out of the way right out the gate.
The goat
Right.
of horror manga.
Yes, the
Yeah.
goat of horror Japanese manga.
And the
Junji
happiest
Ito.
dude on earth, if you ever
Yes!
see this shit.
He's like a real chill dude. I've seen like all the interviews and stuff that like Viz does with him and stuff.
Yeah. He draws and writes some real fucked up shit, but then you like look at him and he's like the jolliest dude I've ever seen.
Like I like to think that he's there's like a meme going around that like you see like a metalhead, you know, like this, you know, punked out dude, maybe even performs at a band, and you're like, dang, that's a scary guy. And he happens to be listening to music on his headphones, and you're like, man, he's probably listening to some satanic black shit. And then you glance at his phone, he's listening to Funky Town.
Either that or ABBA.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like to think that like Junji Ito, it's the same thing. And then you watch the interviews, and it just confirms it that he'll draw the most heinous things of your nightmares while listening to like ABBA.
Which artist is it that he draws? Is it Junji Ito that hates the fucking Beatles, or is it who's the other dude? I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. But there's somebody that draws some really fucked up shit, and they're like, oh, he likes listening to this, this, and this, and then the one that draws all the fuck the Beatles. Or no, I think it's Ghibli. Fuck, what's his name? I can't believe
Miyazaki.
Oh, Miyazaki.
He's
Yeah.
like, he draws all this really happy-go-lucky shit, but he hates everything.
Yeah.
He's just mean as shit. That him and Ito are like complete opposites.
Yeah.
Junji Ito is super happy-go-lucky, loves all these beautiful things, and he draws the most heinous images on planet Earth. And then Miyazaki draws beautiful flowers and these beautiful worlds, and he's out there listening to fucking satanic death metal. And he's like, fuck the Beatles.
Yeah. Let's just back up just a little bit so we can fill in any viewers or listeners that don't know who the fuck we are talking about. So I think it's just fair to say that he's known for obviously horror, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And his artwork is definitely the most famous part about the stories. It's not even so much the stories so much as the artwork that goes with it. You know, I think back to Todd McFarlane, the guy that created Venom, you know, from
Yeah.
Spider-Man, that he says that yeah, the artwork is what sells the comic, because he's like, you could have a really well drawn comic written by a dog and you could sell that book. But if you get, you know, William Shakespeare's writing, but it's drawn by my mom, no one will buy it.
Yeah.
True.
That, yeah. I don't 100% agree with him, but yeah, he does have a point. Like, the cover is what sells your book. Like, ipso facto, they say don't judge a book by its cover, but that's an expression for a reason, because fucking everyone does.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think to jump into this topic for people who are like, okay, it's the spooky season. I'm curious about these, you know, Japanese horror comics, aka mangas. Where should I start? Where can I find it? And I think
Your
it's fair to
local library.
say, yes, your local library. However, I think for people that want to start, I think a good starting story, and I think it's because this is a lot of people's first Junji Ito story, is The Enigma of the Amagara Fault, aka the one with the holes.
Yeah.
So, for those of you confused, what do you mean holes? So, I'll summarize the story, but I won't go into detail. You're just gonna have to read it, and for those of you curious, you can find it online for free. Fans have scanned the pages and uploaded them and translated them into English online. So if you're willing to look for it and read it yourself, by all means, go for it. It is online. And I say that mainly because this short story is really hard to find, like, officially,
Like
in the
printed,
sense
yeah.
that you can't really find it in a book. So that is only why I'm saying find it online. But in short, it's basically a canyon, and on the side of the canyon there are these holes, but the holes are in the exact shape and outline of a person. And little by little, people start finding out that that hole is theirs because they can fit perfectly, like to the inch, in there. And then they just walk in and they
Never
can't
to
find them. And
return.
yep. And because the cutout is of the silhouette. You can't even find another person who can go in there and rescue the person that went in there.
What
So
if they're
that's the
twins?
synopsis in a nutshell. I don't want to reveal anymore. Just if you have the time, turn off the lights, go find it.
Yeah, I
If you're like
was.
me, do not turn off the lights. Keep all the lights on. Maybe some salt, holy
uh,
water. You don't know. I don't like spooky stuff really all that
yeah.
much,
Mhm.
but I'll still read it.
Yeah. I was actually talking to Mark about this one because we were watching something we'll get to eventually. We were watching the first episode of Uzumaki,
Mhm.
and we were talking about like the ones that we've read, and I've honestly haven't read too many of Junji Ito's stories, but this one is one that I have read. And Mark was kind of asking me like, is there a deeper meaning to like any of his stories? And me being an idiot, I was like, nah, they're just spooky. And but then I like sat and thought about it. I was like, well, I mean, I guess if you wanted me to like give you a psychoanalyst analysis of like the enigma at whatever fault, I forgot the name
Mhm.
of the if you
Yeah.
want me to give you an analysis of the story about the fucking holes, I would say that in Japan, the culture is very much you have to fit in. Like in America, the expression is the squeaky wheel gets the grease. That means you have
Mm-hmm.
to, like speak up and be loud and you'll get noticed. In Japan, it's the hammer, the nail that sticks out gets hammered. So like in Japan, it's like, no, you fit in.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
if you're weird, we're going to hammer it the fuck out of you.
Mhm.
So with that in mind, it's like I guess the story could be saying that like, yeah, you have to find your place to fit in, and when you do, you feel great, but you might not like what comes out the other end.
Mhm. Well said.
Yeah.
Well put, sir. Mhm.
Thank you.
Yep.
I didn't drink that day, so all the brain cells were working.
Everything's firing at
Mhm.
100%.
Mhm.
What was y'all's first introduction to Junji? The first
I
one I
mean,
read was the Hanging Balloons one. It's the first one,
oh, okay.
and that one still creeps me the fuck out.
Mm.
And then when they animated it, made it even worse. But that was my first introduction into it. And then at my job, they're actually some of the most popular mangas that get checked out. Like I have a
Yeah.
huge section of mangas. Well, not huge, but I have a big section of manga, and the ones that get checked out the most are usually Junji Ito, and I'm pretty sure a couple of them have been stolen because they haven't come back.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, the Hanging Balloons was one that I first came across, and then I I'm not a big spooky person, but I was like, yeah, fuck it. They weren't that bad. I'm getting better at the spooky stuff. But I did read Frankenstein. Did read that one. I've read Uzumaki. And those are the only three I've read. I've seen pages and stuff from all of his other stuff,
Mm,
but so far those are the only three I've read. And his art style is fucking out there,
yeah.
Mhm.
I
like stuff that I can't
think
even come up with.
I think maybe the holes one was the first one I read, but if I were to say a second one, it was Hellstar Ramina,
Ooh,
or sometimes it's just called Ramina. And I
hmm
think that one
Mhm.
has been published like in a collected volume in English.
Yes.
Yeah, but that one's cool. That one, if you like Devilman, the particularly the end of Devilman Crybaby, check out Hellstar Ramina. You'll probably dig
Mhm.
right up your alley.
it.
Yeah. So, I guess to help out some people who maybe listen to this episode and they're like, you know what, I want to look this up. I want to get into it. So, uh, Junji Ito, his work is he's got like the short stories and then the full blown like series. So this one that we talked about, the Enigma of the Amagara Fall, the one with the holes. That one's a short story. It's a few pages long, and that's it. It's a contained story, and that's it. So a lot of his short stories are sometimes even more famous than the full blown series that he's done. So that's why, like, if discussing it, we're kind of all over the place or mismatched. That's why. It's because he has so many short stories to the point that if you do go out to your local bookstore or library to find some of these books, a lot of them are just going to be collections where it's just, 6, maybe 10 short stories put together in the one book. However, then you have the series like Uzumaki, where that one is, a 20 chapter, story, but it's just that one story. Um, yeah, the one you mentioned also, Jay, I believe that one's also a series. It's not
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
a
was
short story.
it was pretty
Yeah.
long. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
especially compared to the one with the holes.
Yeah. And so the other ones he's got is Tomi and Gil, just to name a few. Um and yeah, we'll get into Uzumaki and the animes a bit later, but just to keep it, contained to just, the mangas is uh I think for me, one of the biggest critiques I have as far as Junji Ito is that I think the reason the short stories are a lot more famous is because since they're so short and they're so self-contained, a lot of them it really is that ambiguous ending of like you don't know what comes next, and so that's part of
Yeah,
the horror. And so for a lot of these series, they start off really strong, but then it just kind of like just sizzles out, and it's almost like crap. You didn't really know how to conclude it or where to go. And so I do think that's where a lot of his series kind of fall a little flat. I'm not saying they're bad, just that it might not keep you hooked until the end, or at least it didn't for me personally. But just to give synopsis on a few of them, Tomi is about a creepy girl.
you had that
I
one,
will leave
didn't
it
you?
at that. Huh?
Didn't you have that one?
I did not. No, I didn't have Tomi. I had Uzumaki, and then the rest of them were collections, short stories. I don't think I had Tomi.
I knew someone that had Tommy. I don't
Yeah,
know
it
who
was.
I'm confusing you with, but yeah,
But yeah,
'Cause I remember seeing that title.
that
Like,
girl, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Um, the other one is Gyo, and so that one is I will only spoil the beginning. It's basically it starts off, with just something smells nasty, and no matter what you do, you can't get rid of that smell, that nasty stench. Doesn't matter how many candles you burn, how many sprays you put, how many showers you take, that smell is there.
Ugh.
And then it drives you insane. And then
that shit's too real.
you
Yeah.
see you see fish pop up from the water, from the ocean. But then you see the fish come to shore. You're thinking it's a dead fish, and the current's pushing it. But then when it gets to the water, you see that it has legs like a crab,
Ugh.
and the fish is actually walking to shore. And that's all I will say.
And it's
Gyo
in
is a
Japan, so you can't
metaphor
shoot
for
it.
BO.
Gyo's a
If you
metaphor
want
for
to,
after I leave the Taco Bell bathroom.
if
you want
if
for
I'm
those of you
not
looking for the like Mark looking for that deeper meaning. So what does he represent? Just BO.
if I'm not mistaken,
Bañate.
I think Guillermo del Toro talked about that one, Gil,
Uh,
and that he really liked it. And there's this one like panel, a scare, if you will,
mm.
that really stuck with him that I won't spoil. But The other thing about Junji Ito's work that's really clever is that since it is a manga, it is a book, you know, a comic book, if you will. When you're reading through it, he always makes sure to put all the creepy panels in the next page. So it
Yeah.
builds up that anticipation, and you have to turn the page. And when you turn it, you are going to be met with some really creepy imagery.
Yeah, that was one of the things that me and Mark also talked about while we were watching Uzumaki was because he's had other stuff of his adapted in or animated,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of them haven't been great. So that was just
Yeah.
like one of the questions that he asked me, like, how come like none of them seem to really be as big of a hit as they are in the manga? And I
Mm-hmm.
told him that like, well, it's because Junji Ito is really good at writing horror manga, right? Like he's a really good like it'd be the same as like having a really good uh 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 filmmaker, right? Like if
Mm-hmm.
he's a really good movie maker, but then you have him write a book and he can't do it, like that doesn't mean that he's not talented or that the story
Mm-hmm.
sucks. It's that like these are different mediums, so you have to use different tricks to like
Yeah.
Your point
convey
across.
the to get
Mm-hmm.
people to get people the right emotions out of people, right? Like, and
Mm-hmm.
Junji Ito's really good at doing that with the medium of manga, the medium of comics.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I don't think a lot of people that animate it are good at translating that over.
Yeah. So I can comment on yeah, and I guess from here we can jump into the anime portions of it. So yes, for those of you that don't want to read, yes, there's anime that you can look up. I believe one of the is on Netflix,
Yeah.
and I want to say the other one might be on Crunchyroll. But there are two separate anime
Adaptation.
adaptations, collections, whatever word you want to
Yeah,
use.
one of them is Gyo,
And
is it
then
not?
I think the
oh
Gyo one
yeah,
is
that
on
one got its own.
Crunchyroll.
Okay, so I take it back. Three. And
Did,
then with Uzumaki, it's four.
It's
yeah.
four because that
But
one's the newest one.
but yeah, but Gyo is just it's just Gyo. It's just that series. So yes, there is an anime adaptation of that one. I have not seen that one, so I can't comment on that one. But to go back to the collections of why aren't they as good as the manga, I do think it's part of the reason, not the full reason, but definitely one of the bigger ones, is that so like most mangas, they're in black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
that's another thing.
when
Yeah.
yeah, so when you read the manga, your imagination does a lot of the heavy lifting.
Mm-hmm.
Your brain, if you will, has to fill in a lot of the gaps. And it's a lot of heavy blacks when it comes to the artwork and the horror. So because of that, your brain kind of just fills in all the grotesqueness of it. And so then when they do these anime adaptations, they do it in color.
Mm-hmm.
So now because it's in color, your brain can't fill in that other half. They have to do it and they have to fill it in. And that's one of the biggest flaws with the anime adaptations. The animation quality is not on the same level as his mangas, his panels. And I mean, it's fair. In a manga, it's a single image, it's a single panel, it's a single frame, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
compared to an anime that it has to move. It's
Yeah.
several. So a lot of it just doesn't bode well. And I think a good example I can use is I believe in the Crunchyroll version, one of the episodes is on the Junji Ito story, The Model.
Mm-hmm.
It's a short story. And And one of the scares in that one is when you get the big reveal of the monster, if you will, and you get this frame of just this person, if you will, big exaggerated smile, sharp teeth,
I know the frame.
dripping
Yeah,
with
Yeah.
the yeah.
Yeah, I know the
So then in the anime they copied it, and when you do the side by side, it looks silly. It's not
Yeah.
scary.
It doesn't convey the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, Juan's right in the sense that like when you draw something in black and white or in black and gray, like uh your brain does fill in a lot of the gaps, a lot of the negative space and stuff. So when you do it in color, you lose a lot of that because yeah, black and gray is also what you shadow with. So like you what you thought might have been a shadow, the animators might not think is a shadow, and they'll color that in, and so that like that'll throw it off for you. Like even that little minute thing, it can be enough to like take the scare away. Like there's a reason holding the flashlight up to your face scares you as a little kid, because the shadows make you look weird. But like if an animator sees a black and white picture of that, they might not, shadow it the same. So and then the effect is lost.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's not to say that all the anime ones are bad. There's definitely some better ones in the field. And even I'll say, even though I criticized that scene in the model, I did think that one was one of the better of the animated stories. Um, and then and then Paco mentioned the balloon one,
Yeah.
and yeah, that one is in the Netflix one, and
Yeah.
yes, I do think that one episode is the strongest
It is very
in the
much so.
Netflix version. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's the
if you
strongest
have
one.
to watch one of them, watch that one.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. So shall we now use this time to jump into Uzumaki?
Yes, because Uzumaki so far, I mean, it's only been one episode, but
Yeah.
it's really strong. Starting off really strong,
Yeah.
black and white. It's like it's almost, I think, frame by frame or panel by panel, the manga, just animated.
It is really, really faithful to the manga. Like
Very much so.
if I were to pause it at certain moments, I would swear that it's just like
Just
me
screenshot.
projecting the manga
Yeah.
page.
Yeah.
Like
Definitely. And yeah, so just to back up a little bit, just for again the uninitiated, Uzumaki is one of the series. It's not a short story. It is, like I said, maybe like 20 chapters. And Adult Swim, Toonami, they have adapted it into an anime, and yeah, the first episode just debuted. Here's
And
the
it's
crazy thing. I
been
think
in the
it's only gonna
works
be
for a
4
while.
episodes. Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
it got delayed because of COVID.
Yeah.
And yeah, series has been in the works for like almost 4+ years at this point.
Yeah, I
It's
remember
crazy.
I knew about it like before that, because the guys that run Toonami, the Adult Swim version of they ran classic Toonami as well. But they ran Adult Swim Toonami, and they had a podcast, and I would listen to it like, pretty much every week, and they were throwing out, a couple of hints of like, oh no, yeah, we're working on something and hopefully it goes through. This was week after week after week of me hearing like, what in the fuck are you guys working on? Like, because they would just be like, trust us guys, like it's gonna be big, you're gonna love it, like when you hear it you're gonna go nuts. And then finally they got the go ahead, and they were able to say it, and he was like, yeah, we're gonna make Uzumaki. Like, it's gonna be an Adult Swim production. We got a team negotiating the details. I'm able to talk about it now, and we're gonna square everything away. Me and it was Jason. Jason DeMarco's like the main guy, and I forgot who the co-host was, but he's like, we're both going to Japan to like square everything up, and we'll have it on TV pretty soon. This was like 2018. This was Max wasn't even like a fucking pipe dream.
Yeah.
Like, and then here we are, 2024. Like,
And it's
episode 1 barely premiered this week.
But yeah, I know COVID was definitely like a big thing that affected it. As to why it like slowed down, and then it's crazy when you consider that I think they're saying it's only 4 episodes long.
Yeah.
So it is really, really short, but it's like, hey, like however long they need, because they showed like a clip during the pandemic, and the clip was from the first episode, just showing like this is what it's gonna look like, and you see it, and it really is just, like they had the manga here, and the animator was drawing it like right next to it, and as far as like faithfulness, yes, it is faithful. Now I'm going off some pretty old memories of Uzumaki because it's been a while since I read it, but maybe someone in the comments can correct me if I'm wrong. There is portions of the story that are being rushed, and there's moments that I could have sworn happened later in the story that are happening a lot earlier. Now, I'm not saying that as a bad thing, because again, when it comes to Junji Ito, some of the series, they go for too long, and he just doesn't have as strong an ending. So, hearing that it's only 4 episodes long,
they cut the fat.
And that yeah, I do think it's trimming out some of the more like slower paced moments, and it really is just giving us the the important details, the to it. And so yeah, I just think it's off to a really strong start. I know my wife is not looking forward to the next episode because the next episode has the part that made her cringe. I don't blame her. I cringe just thinking about it. I know it's gonna happen. It's gonna. Oh man! So
it wasn't the cinnamon roll. The cinnamon roll didn't make you.
Yeah, not as much as this next one that's gonna happen. I will say nothing. But yeah, if y'all got HBO Max, check it out.
Yeah. And I think they're uploading both the sub and the dub like the same day. I think Toonami's airing them back to back, so they get uploaded the same day on Max. So
yeah, if I'm not mistaken, on Adult Swim they air the subtitled version.
Yeah.
And then they air the dubbed one on TV at a later day. But if you have Max, you don't gotta wait.
Yep.
By the next day, they have both versions up. So, for those of you that would rather watch it dubbed, don't worry, they got it dubbed on HBO
Dubs
Max.
over subs. Fight me.
I saw it subtitled just to like see it, like because I didn't realize that they were uploading both until I like was fiddling with the settings. I was like, oh shit, I don't have captions on. Like, and when I was trying to turn on the captions, it was like, oh, I can watch this dubbed already. Neat. But like I was already in sub. I'm not rewinding. I'm not restarting.
Yeah, you're like, I've come too far.
No, mine automatically defaulted to the dubbed.
Same.
So that's the only reason I found out.
Okay, yeah. I am probably gonna go back and watch the dubbed episode, just to check out both versions.
Yeah.
But the subbed is fantastic. It's really cool. but also, I don't speak Japanese, so the acting, some of the nuances of the voice acting could be lost on me.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. but but yeah, no, Uzumaki, it's great. It's off to that a really strong start. I definitely see this as like one of the big contenders at the anime awards this year.
Oh
It's
yeah,
good. It has to be. Yeah,
hmm
it's gonna be a big contender.
it's doing a very good job of like blending the 2D with the 3D, like with the CG, because you can tell that some of that is 2D drawn, maybe not
Yeah.
traditionally 2D drawn, but it's digital still, but like it's a 2D frame, but they'll have like some of the background stuff, or some of like, for those that haven't seen it, Uzumaki means spiral, and there's a lot of spirals in the background and the clouds and the grass and stuff. They're everywhere.
Little
And so,
details.
yeah, when they animate those, a lot of the spirals are CG, so they already like kind of look a little like
Little
uncanny
off.
valley, and
Yeah.
that already like puts you in the like something weird's going on here. Like, what the fuck is up with these swirly things?
Yeah.
Which is another like thing that I thought was brilliant on their part, to use the awkwardness of CG sometimes to
To its
help
advantage.
sell, like to enhance like the horror a little bit, to enhance the uncomfort. Um, but yeah, they when they need it to look good and not uncanny, it looks super solid and it looks really great.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Yes.
So to, I guess, just get ready to close things out. I guess,
Well,
are
before we
there
go,
any? Huh?
no, you go ahead. We might be asking the same question.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, do you guys want to just name some of your favorite Junji Ito like stories that we can like recommend to the viewers?
I've only read a few, but the ones that I've read creep me the fuck out. So if you like that creepy shit, hell yeah, go for it. Of course, Uzumaki is one of them for me.
Yeah.
I have read Ramina. I haven't read Yo, so I'm probably gonna have to check that one out. The other one that I read was Frankenstein, and then there's one called Smashed. Is another one.
Is that the one about the honey?
I think so. I can't remember. It's been a while since I read Junji. Like I said, my job, I see him all the time. I just haven't picked him up. The one that I got asked for that I didn't even know was Junji Ito. They came up and asked me for it. Was called Dissolving Classroom. Was the name of it?
Okay. We're
Um,
we're gonna talk about that one the next episode because that's not Junji Ito.
that it's not Junji Ito.
That is not Junji Ito.
It's not. It gets a lot of people get it confused, but
Yeah,
it's not.
because the artwork is similar, but yeah, it's not him. And just to Smashed is a collection. It's a bunch of short stories. I know because I actually have a copy of that one.
Okay. Is the one with the honey on that one?
I don't know.
I would assume so, because the one with the honey is Mike was talking about it on the Anime Excellence. The premise of it is that there's this amazing honey. Like, you taste this honey and it's the best tasting thing you've ever had, and like once you've had it, like, you can't go back. Like I gotta get this honey. Like, I don't care what I gotta do. Like I can eat it, snort it rectally. It doesn't matter. I need this honey in me. Everyone loves the honey. The only like downside, apart from it being very addictive, is that, randomly, if you eat the honey, there's a chance that you'll get squashed by some invisible force. Like,
what?
And you don't know if it'll be you that it happens to. It might be the guy next to you, but like, if you eat the honey, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think Smashed is that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
Smash is that one.
It has that story. Yeah.
Okay,
So-
Smashed.
According to Google, because I had to look this up, so there's two different classrooms. One's called Dissolving Classroom, and it has Junji Ito's name on it, and the other one's the Drifting Classroom, and that one has a
Oh,
different
okay.
name.
Oh, okay. So then maybe we did get them mixed up, but yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah,
can
So
I
yeah,
can see
I'm
why
thinking.
this
I
whatever
was thinking of
reason-
drifting. Then yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because for whatever reason, it still has Drifting Classroom under in the Uzumaki or in the Junji Ito like list, but I'm guessing it's got a completely different author. So
Mhm.
I'm guessing it's just so similar, or it's in the
I th-
same vein.
No, I think
But
it's
yeah.
one of those things where, like, since we're working off fan translations,
Yeah,
some of the
Mhm.
fan translations will use the same title, and so that's
Mhm.
getting
Yeah.
like people mixed up. Like,
yeah. So
Mhm.
yeah, Dissolving and Drifting. Because I was like, I swear to God, that dude told me it was Dissolving. So I was like, what? So I was like, I had to look it up to make sure I wasn't going crazy. Yeah, but Smashed is the honey one, the secret nectar,
yeah, there
as
you
they
go.
say. Yeah, but those are the ones that I guess I would recommend. Like I said, I've only read like 4 of them. The other ones I haven't read. And like I said, unless there's a really pretty girl that'll date me for reading them, probably don't plan on reading them because I'm just not super into spooky stuff. Because for whatever reason, my brain, if I read it, my brain's like, that's real. That's gonna happen.
It's gonna.
Hey, that's real.
You're never gonna have honey again.
You're never gonna. I'm never gonna eat honey again. Like anytime I watch a scary movie, like when I watched The Nun, I was like, she's outside my fucking window. She is there. Like my brain makes it real, and it takes me like a day to be like, oh yeah, it's just bullshit.
I know what you mean, because like even when I change stuff in my room, like when I put up that little like snake handkerchief,
Yeah.
the people can't really see it, but like it's got a design up there on top. When I hung it up, I was like, yeah, that looks cool. I'll leave it there and it'll be fine. And then like I woke up at 4 a.m. randomly, and I'm like looking over at my wall. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, there's some kind of lizard on my wall. Oh, it's the snake.
Oh, it's just snake.
God damn it! I'm a fucking idiot. Okay, but before we wrap up, real quick,
Mhm.
Juan, you seem to be the most well versed on Junji Ito out of the 3 of us, and you've probably seen most of the
Mhm.
anime. So, I will ask you this: what story of his have you read that you think would make a good anime adaptation that hasn't been animated?
That's a really good question.
Like if Adult Swim is like, hey, Uzumaki made Gangbusters, let's do another one. Which one are you pitching to him?
All right. Well, if it's gonna be the series, probably Tomy, because
Okay.
I think that one has enough, like, content wise, like story wise,
Mm.
to fill out, the episodes. But I think that one was already animated
Okay.
in one of the anime, so therefore it I don't even think it counts, because I think it did get animated.
Well,
So
I'll give you a pass on it just because like Adult Swim is clearly doing a different style of adaptation.
Yeah.
So
so if we're doing that, if not, then I would say the fault, the enigma of the Amigara fault. The only thing is that one would probably be better as like a one shot
as a short,
than as a whole series. And just to also chime in on like another short story that's a favorite of mine. I can't remember in which collection this story is in. It's not in Smash, so it's got to be in one of the other ones, but I'm blanking on it. But the story's called the Earthbound, kind of like the video game.
Okay.
And that one, the premise of that one is that there are people that just get frozen stiff, kind of like a statue, in random places. And no matter what you do, you can't get them to unstick. They are
For
stuck
real?
like that. Yeah.
Not even if I give them $5.
Mm-mm.
That
You
usually
can-
gets the dudes in New Orleans to move.
They won't move. They're stuck, like
Damn.
frozen, like a human, like a literal human statue.
That sounds
can
terrifying.
You can
Yeah.
still talk to them and stuff, but
Hey, Phil.
but they won't. Yeah, and so some of them, they're just stuck in like the randomest of places. Some are on the park, some are on the sidewalk, middle of the street. But then it gets really spooky when this chick wakes up in her apartment and there's just a frozen guy right next to her bed.
Oh no!
Damn.
God.
And yeah, so I do think that one is one of the better of the short stories.
Yeah, that one.
Again, man, I don't know in which collection it's in, so that I can like tell the audience like which one has it. Damn it. Like, let's see, I'm scrolling through some of these to
Has
see
Ramina been adapted?
which one.
Ramina?
I don't think so.
No,
No.
not yet.
That might be a good one to.
That one is pretty
Alright.
long. That one might make, 2 episodes or something.
Earthbound is in Smashed.
Okay.
Okay, I swear I've read the other ones. It's just we just so happen to just talk about the ones in that one. Oh, here we go. The balloon one. It's in Shiver.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so if you're curious about the balloon one and you want to read it, you can find that one in the Shiver collection. But yeah, so but yeah, as far as anime adaptation goes, definitely the Amagara fault for sure, 100%.
Yep.
So now I'm going through it. Like you guys are looking it up, but I'm looking it up,
Mhm.
and now there's one that I want to read now because it doesn't look scary, but it looks hilarious, and that's Junji Ito's Cat Diary.
Oh,
Yawn and Moves.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm going to recommend to everybody. You know what? It's Halloween, not time for spooky stuff. You know what? How about a Cat Diary? That's what you should read. That one, I'm probably going to buy that one now just to read it because it looks hilarious.
Yeah, there's a character. There's like a recurring character in some of his stories. I think his name's like Suichi. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Soichi, something like that. And I want to say he comes out in like 3 different like short stories. And even
really
though the
fucking
story
hates that
itself,
kid, man.
yeah, like even though it's creepy, like the stories he's in and he's more of like almost like he's almost a comic relief, almost, because his whole gimmick is that he's obsessed with like horror and dark and you name it. And so he gets these like fucking ideas, but they don't always work. And so there is like some humor to it, as disturbing as that might sound.
And to me, it sounds like some kid named Suichi was picking on Junji when he was in
Right?
school.
Yeah.
And he was like, "I'll show you, fucker."
Their name's going to be synonymous with failure.
With right? Yeah, definitely agree.
So I looked at some of the because it'll give you previews of some of the panels for the different stories,
Yeah.
And so the Yon Mew, as I'm looking through the different panels, the little previews, it still got some of the creepy imagery. I was like, shit, stuff that it's not
Even when
that
he's drawing cute shit, he's like,
yeah.
oh, nah.
And it's either
Nah,
like
I
it's one of those, like some of those are just those faces that just stick with you, like like you see it out of the corner of your eye, like, oh, what the fuck was that? You know, like, and it's just like, oh, I'm just remembering that fucking image from the fucking book, from the manga.
But yep, definitely. All right.
Most def.
Is there anything else you guys got, or
No, just excited for this month for all of our spooky stuff. We got some good stuff coming down the line.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody sticks around for it.
I'm gonna try to find more beers with monsters on them.
Yeah, you know what? I want to see if I can order some. See if I can find any. Because I did. You know what beer I did find? I know this is completely off topic, but I'm a huge fan of Letterkenny and Shorzy.
Oh yeah.
And
Did
Puppers.
you find Puppers?
I found
My God.
Puppers. But where I found it at, it was like sold out. The store that was selling it, they don't ship to the U.S. So I'm trying to see if I can find it so I can get it shipped to me. Because I really want it. I want to try it. I know that's completely off the spooky topics, but it's
fuck you, Junji Ito. You're
you and your creepy shit. Reading a manga the other day.
But yeah, just to give those of you alphas that stick it out all the way to the end, yeah, we'll keep the horror manga topic. That'll be the next one. However, we just had to get Junji Ito, first. So the next one will be on other horror mangas that are not Junji Ito.
we got the
Junji really does take over the conversation when it comes to a lot of horror mangas.
He's the Stephen King of manga,
but
horror manga.
Now that you're talking about that, I'm gonna look up to see what I can find, and I'm probably just, instead of buying the actual mangas because I'm broke, I'm probably gonna see if I can get an app so I can start reading them while at work. That way, so I can know what the hell I'm talking about. Be like, I read them, I swear.
Yeah, I have a subscription to the Shonen Jump one just because I like reading them on my phone, and it lets you download them. So if you don't have internet. And it's like
cheap. $3. Yeah.
It's like it's like $4. So why not? Yeah. And and you get like a week free. You get the first week free, and then after that, it's like $4. It's pretty cheap.
That's how they hook you.
Yeah. How they hook you is they give you like the first 3 chapters, even if you're just a free user. They give you the first 3 and the last 3 for free.
Oh wow!
Yeah. It's everything in the middle that it's like, nah, you gotta pay.
This is how it started. Now this is how it's in. What happened in between? You gotta know the rest of the story.
Well, like it's not such a big deal with something that's short and hasn't been around for very long. But if you're barely getting into One Piece,
you need to pay. You gotta
have a filler, baby. You gotta have all the filler. You gotta have all the One Piece filler. That's where like all the best memes come from.
But the way I see it is like, look, just read the series you want, and then when you're done with it, you can always just pull the plug, and then wait for more chapters to come out, and then fork over the other $4.
Yeah.
So to everybody out there who listened and watched, if you have any recommendations for us, just comment them down, and if we see them, we'll read them. Y'all are the experts out there. My scary ass ain't.
Yep, for sure. Ed, as always, you guys are the true alphas for sticking with us all the way to the end. So with that said, enjoy this month of spooks, and we will catch you all on the next one.
Adios.
Peace.
Peace.